What's up? We're here. We're back. I'm remastering another video that I previously did 2 years ago because I looked angry and sad. And so I want to redo it so I look excited and happy. And we're starting right now. All right, so the video was entitled Following Yahweh Completely, Part 1. This is roughly 13. Let's go down to Numbers 14. And this is titled The People Rebel. Then all the congregation lifted up their voices, and they cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron. And all the congregation said to them, "If only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in the wilderness. And why is Yahweh bringing us to this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and children should become prey? Would it not be better for us to turn back to Egypt?" What? And they said to each other, "Let us appoint a leader, and let us turn back to Egypt." Oh man, bad news, people. These guys are going to rebel. So we go down. Moshe intercedes for the people. Yahweh promises judgment. Okay, look at verse 24. Numbers 14:24. "But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit in him and has followed me completely, I shall bring into the land where he went, and his seed shall inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are dwelling in the valley, turn back tomorrow and set out into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds." So what is it about Caleb, and it was also Yahshua son of Nun, they had a different spirit versus the people or the children of Israel? So looking here on screen, because there was another spirit in Caleb, that is, not the unbelieving, despairing, yet proud and rebellious spirit of the great mass of the people of Israel, but the spirit of obedience and believing trust in Yahweh, so that he followed Yahweh fully, literally fulfilled to walk behind Yahweh, following him into the land which he had gone, and his seed should possess it. You see this? So let's see also. All right, so if you look at Numbers 32, verses 11 and 12, it says, "Not one of the men who came up from Egypt from 20 years old and above is to see the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they did not follow me completely, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Yehoshua, son of Nun, for they have followed Yahweh completely." Deuteronomy 1:36, "Except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him and his children I give the land, on which he walked, because he followed Yahweh completely." See the theme? Yehoshua or Joshua chapter 14, verse 8 and 9. "But my brothers who went up with me made the heart of the people melt, but I followed Yahweh completely. So Moshe swore on that day, saying, the land of which your foot has trodden in your inheritance and your children's forever, because you have followed Yahweh my Elohim completely." So we see a pattern here. What do we do when we see patterns? We investigate. So let's look into the King James at Numbers 14:24. "He had another spirit and had followed me fully," is the Hebrew word, or that phrase there. Well, it's the Hebrew word for the phrase, "he hath followed me fully." It is, we got achar malah, male achar. Strong's Hebrew number 4390. It's a primitive root to fill or to be full of, and a wide application to accomplish and confirm. So, male, in Benner's Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible, it is the mem lamed, two-letter root line. Its action means to speak. Concretely, it's word. And abstractly, we get the word to continue. It's a continuation of segments which fill the whole. You go down to section EV, we got mem lamed aleph. Its action means to fill. Concretely, it means first fruits. A conglomeration of ingredients for filling up something. Fill is what we get. Mem lamed aleph. What is the mem? It's a picture of water. It means chaos. It means mighty. And what does water do? It flows. It can cleanse. It can be chaotic too. The lamed is a picture of a shepherd's staff. It denotes authority. The scepter. You can use the shepherd's staff to pull in your sheep or to goad them along the way. And the aleph, the stronger ox, the chief leader. It means power, first, and leader. So here we have a continual cleansing by the shepherd, or by the authority of taming ourselves to that shepherd who is Yahweh. So here we see that Caleb followed Yahweh completely through this continual flowing of taming himself to the chief shepherd. Now, the delegated authority was handed down to Moshe on behalf of the people as the intercessor or mediator for Yahweh to the people. Very picturesque of our Messiah. And what did Joshua and Caleb do? Joshua specifically, they led the people into the promised land, another picture of our Mashiach. So, I believe I was looking at, in that old video, Genesis chapter 15, 16, 17, or 18, one of those. Let's start with chapter 18. Yahweh appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre while he was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day. Okay, please let a little bit of water. And he took, where's your wife? Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? Okay, Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Okay, maybe it's Genesis 17. Abraham and the covenant of circumcision. All right. And I shall establish my covenant between me, you, and your seed after you and there. I'm looking for where he talks about Abraham shall teach his children diligently. Was it 15 or 16? Okay, it's not 16. Maybe it was 15. Yahweh's covenant with Abram. All right, we're not finding it, but I will. And when I do, we'll post it. I thought it was in, maybe it's 18. I didn't go to 18, or did I? Oh, I did. For I have known him so that he commands. Okay, so Genesis 18. I told you it's been 2 years, and I did watch it to kind of get an idea, but I didn't really write it down. So Genesis 18, verse 17. And Yahweh said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing? Since Abraham is certainly going to become a great and mighty nation, and all of the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him, so that he commands his children and his household after him to guard the way of Yahweh, to do righteousness and right ruling, so that Yahweh brings to Abraham what he has spoken to him. You see, this is about following Yahweh completely. We follow him completely whenever we are walking in his spirit. Now, that can be very taken out of context in a Christian sense or a churchy sense, living by the Spirit. But what I'm trying to say here is when we walk a life that is in the Torah, in the instructions of Yahweh, and the reason why I say this is walking in the Spirit, because Shaul in Romans chapter 7, verse 14, I think, says that the Torah is spiritual. So when we walk according to the instructions of Yahweh, we are spiritual. We're walking in the Spirit, fulfilling the Spirit, not fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Therefore, we must command. Well, command here is like a dictatorial term of like hounding down on people. But when we instruct, properly guide and teach, goad our children into the ways of Yah, to guard, that is to have an attitude of protecting his covenant, his word, the attitude of the heart to want to do these things. When we teach that to our children, showing them that this will give them long life, this is that way that we're teaching our children in our household after us to do righteousness and right ruling. And this is what will bring forth blessings from Yahweh. It's cool. It's easy. It's not too far off for Who should go get it and bring it near to me? No, it's very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you should do these things. And when we look at a couple of words, let's go on screen. Here we are on screen. I was reading Genesis, so y'all can see. Genesis 18, verse 17. We want the scriptures. So, okay. Verse 19. For I have known him so that he commands his children and his household after him to guard the way of Yahweh, to do righteousness and right ruling, so that Yahweh brings to Abraham what he has spoken to him. Now let's go back to the King James. Where is it? Let's look at that word guard. It's keep. 8104. Shamar. Shin, mim, resh. To keep, guard, observe, give heed. Look, to keep, guard, keep watching, ward, protect, save life. A watchman. To watch, observe, wait for, treasure up. How should a young man keep his way pure? By storing up his word within his heart so that he might not sin against you. Psalm 119, 10, 11, paraphrase. To preserve. To be on one's guard, take heed. A primitive root properly to hedge about as with thorns, protecting your attitude of your heart to want to serve Yahweh by protecting the word that he has instructed us to walk in. So let's go back to Shamar here, because I do want to take you to the ancient Hebrew. Its action means to guard. Concretely, it's a briar. You know, you think of the shin, it's a picture of two front teeth, and it has the definitions of pressing together, destruction by chewing things up, pressing down. The mim, a lot of mim in these. Water, denoting chaos, mighty, flood, cleansing, flowing. And the resh, the picture of a man, his head, first, top, or beginning. And it's abstractly, it's custody. A close watching of something for guarding or protecting. Shepherds constructed corrals of briars at night to protect the flock from predators. And it comes from the seen noon, from the thorns used in constructing a corral. So if you look at our attitude of Yahweh's word that we're told to guard, Shamar, his Debarim, that is in Shamar, guard, Debarim, words, Yahweh's words. So if we construct a protective barrier in our minds and in our hearts, according to his word, it will keep our way straight so that we can walk a straight life. It'll help us be guided on a path that is level, that is just, you know, and it's something that we have to keep on and endure, and the path is small and narrow. Let's go down to V. To watch over or guard in the sense of preserving or protecting. What is our attitude to Yahweh's word? Are we just casting them behind us and trampling underfoot, or are we watching over and guarding them in the sense of preserving or protecting his word, keeping it close and near to our heart and to our family, so we can also instruct them how to obtain everlasting life? Yahshua said in John 6:63 that my words are spirit and they are life. Okay, let's go back to Numbers 14, verse 24. But my servant, so we have servant, Ebed comes from the root abad, servant. Caleb, because he had another spirit with him and hath followed me fully. Fully is malay, to fill or be full, to be full, fullness or abundance. A primitive root, to fill or be full. So the spirit that he had in him allowed him to be full of what? Full of obedience unto Yahweh's word. Numbers 14, 24. So we understand that this other spirit was not the unbelieving, despairing, yet proud and rebellious spirit, but yet it was the spirit of obedience through the power of Yahweh himself that allowed him to follow. But he had the choice. He wanted to have the promised land. He wanted to have the goods. So he had to protect and preserve the ways of Yah instead of following in the masses of the disobedient and rebellious. Okay, I wanted to look at another word. So we're going to have to search it. And he believed in Yahweh, and he accounted it to him for righteousness. Zadakah. We got the Zad, the Dalet, the Kuf, and the Hey. 4 letters. Justice, righteousness. Righteousness of Yahweh's attribute. It's from 6663. Rightness, subjectively, rectitude. Objectively, justice. Morally, virtue. Figuratively, prosperity. Here's its usages. We can look this up too, but I want to take you to the pictograph form. So here's the 3-letter root, Zadok. Notice that it comes from the priest's name in the lineage of the Levite, the sons of Zadok. This is prophesied in Ezekiel as well. Concretely means straight. Abstractly, we get righteous. One who is upright or righteous is one who walks a straight path, the straightness of the side. So remember Psalm 1, Psalm 119, verse 1 and 2, those 2 Psalms talk about, let me see, Psalm 119, verse 1, blessed are the perfect in the way. I'll put a link to the word study that we did on blessed right up here that shows this word means straight are the perfect in the way who walk in the Torah of Yahweh. And you see this definition is one who is upright or righteous is one who walks a straight path. Go down to N1, straightness. So you see the Zadikah, and remember the little man with his arms raised is the picture of the hay, and that can denote something prophetic, futuristic, to take place at another time, and it can also denote a feminine form as you receiving something, receiving straightness. How? Well, look, the Zad, that first letter, that man laying on his side there, if you can see that, is a picture of a trail representing a journey, something you're chasing down. You got the picture of the Dalet, which is a door. Yahshua said, I am the door. My sheep know my voice, and they come to me, and only those can get to the Father through me. I think it's John 10, a couple of different paraphrases of verses all jumbled together, but I'm expecting you to have a good understanding. If not, leave it in the comments below, and we can do a different teaching on these words. You see the Kuf is the picture of a sun on the horizon, representing time, condensing, circling. So you see that we're chasing down Messiah, who is our goal, subservient to him, that by doing so will allow us to go through the door, the wise virgins who prepared themselves with the oil. So at that time, we can receive the revelation of the tree of life. That's what that word pictographically would mean, of straightness. This is what this path that we're on is doing. This is what following Yahweh completely is getting us to. This is what Caleb did. This is what Yehoshua, son of Nun, did. And where did it lead them to? It led them to take charge as leaders for guiding the people to the promised land. Who are we following? Who are we hunting down on this trail? Who are we chasing after? We're walking in that shadow of our Mashiach to chase down that goal, which is the tree of life that Revelation 14:12 speaks about. Or I might be getting my verses wrong. Let me look that up, because I think I've said that like twice or 3 times now about my verses being wrong. Let me read 14:12 in Revelation first. Here's the endurance of the set apart ones. Here are those guarding the commands of Elohim and the belief of Yahshua. Okay, so maybe it's 12, 14, 12, 17. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to fight with the remnant of her seed, those guarding the commands of Elohim and possessing the witness of Yahshua the Messiah. Maybe it's Revelation 22:14 is what I'm thinking of. Blessed are those doing his commands, so that the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and to enter through the gates, that is the door into the city. You see, friends? So being on this journey, we're chasing down that door to enter in that is very narrow, but it leads us to life in due time, to seek revelation. That is amazing. What was the other word I looked at? Yada. I think that's 3045. Strong's Hebrew number 3045. 3045. Yes. Yada. So here is how we know Yahweh intimately. When you know your wife, you've got a close brother, a close sister, a close friend, somebody that you know their thoughts. You can finish their sentences for them because you know them that well. That is Yada. That is an intimate relationship that you have with this person, be it your spouse, your children, a close relative or friend. Yada. So we have the Dalet and the Ayin. Action is see. Abstractly, it's knowledge. You combine the Dalet and the Ayin, you get the door of the eye. The eye is the window into the man's very being. Experience is gained through visual observation, and knowledge is achieved through these experiences. Look at LV. Yod Dalet Ayin. Action means to see. So knowledge, to have an intimate relationship with another person, an idea, or an experience. To know. So what is the picture of the Yod? It's that outstretched arm you see there, that stick figure of the arm. And you have the Dalet, which is the picture of the door. The Ayin, which is the picture of an eye. So by our outstretched arm, we're using this arm because it means to offer, to work, to throw, to worship, praise. So by the work of ourself in this world, following after the path of Yahweh, instructed by his Torah, then we can find this door. It'll be this path that we're seeking to get to this door, but it's through the idea of our world and our experience that we see the scriptures through these lenses that will allow us to worship him in an intimate way. It's incredible. And 6680. Commanded. Now I want to go to 1819. 6680. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall guard or keep the way of Yahweh to do justice. So these are where we took all of our words. Justice, the Zadikah, right here, H66, 66. Command, 6680. Zavah. So we got the Zad, the Wa, and the Hey. To command, charge, give orders, lay charge, give charge to, and order. So this is instruction. Think of strategic military commands. You lay down orders. These are like steadfast, firm orders that you would give a platoon. And what is it for? If you deviate from the orders, you might be endangering yourself or the safety of your fellow brethren and could get people harmed or killed. So we lay down these orders to keep people safe and to appoint these charges unto them to carry out further commands for a specific purpose. And we see this as a specific purpose to follow Yahweh completely, our household and our children, so that they too may teach it to their children and so on, and it's a continuance. Strong's defines it, it's a primitive root, to constitute and join. So let's look at Benner's lexicon. Action is command. Concretely, it's command. Very militaristic in its sense. Let's go down to HV. Command. So again, we've got where the desire to chase down what will connect us to the life of or revelation. That's what those three letters would signify. So when you command someone something, what do? They are placed on a mission to hunt down something that they know will secure them or add them to whatever their purpose is in the end they're trying to get connected to. In this case, it's a revelation that they're trying to seek after. Revelation of what? Prosperity and abundance of life everlasting. Not prosperity and materialistic possessions. No, those are great if they come along, if we can be a proper steward of that. But what we're saying here is chasing down something that will secure us. That's what the wall is there in the middle of the picture. That tent peg looks like a Y, but it's actually a picture of a tent peg. And what do you do when you put up a tent? You stake the ground and wrap it with a rope or the guideline so it secures it, adds it or hooks it to the ground, makes it stable. Well, when you're hunting down something, when you're commanded on a mission, you're hunting down this specific purpose to bring it to fulfillment, and it's securing you to this revelation here. So what do we see Abraham doing? He's giving them a specific command to his children and his household after him, that they shall guard the way of Yahweh to do righteousness and judgment. And that way Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. And it's a blessing. And that all the nations shall be blessed in him. It's incredible. See? Following Yahweh completely. The choice is yours, brethren. What do you want to do? As for me and my house, we shall serve Yahweh Eloheinu. All right. Well, I hope this has been a little bit better of a rendition or a remastering of Following Yahweh Completely Part 1. I will redo Part 2. Stay tuned. I'm in the middle of redoing a lot of these videos, and I hope this blesses you and you can use it as a springboard for your own personal study. In the meantime, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking, and I read every comment that comes through and try to respond to all of them and interact with the people there in that community. So subscribe, please share. Let's get this message out there, because the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I want to spread the mercy and compassion for people who are looking to have an intimate relationship with the King. Not some fluffy, warm, fuzzy feeling nonsense that presents a false hope and security, but something that's real. Something that we can chase down. Because what are we all doing this for? What is our why? Why are we doing this? We know what we're doing. We're following the commands. We know how we're doing it. We're guiding our life according to the word to the very best of our ability. But why are we doing it? You know, it's for me to showcase the good news of our Mashiach and our King, so that the next person can go on to do even bigger and better things and explain to people a lot better than I can the good news of our Messiah. You know, we all have a story. We all come from somewhere. We can use that to our advantage to spread a message of hope to a lost and dying nation. We can do that. Let's do it together. Do it with me. That's why I do it. You know, the greatest fulfillment to my life is serving others who serve, and I want to give selflessly. It's easier said than done on this camera, but I want to get out there in my community and engage and be an impact on other people's life. Even if it's only one person that I impact out of 1 million, I'll feel fulfilled that I was able to showcase the light that's within me to bring someone else hope who doesn't have it. So may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May he give you a shalom. Until next time.